Hi there. Today we're going to talk about the pros and cons of having a citizen legislature. Now, what does that mean? Basically, common everyday citizens are acting as our legislators in Wyoming. Personally, I think that's great, but let's walk through the pros and cons of this. So some of the pros, I think the legislators are closer to the people if they're not professional government employees and legislators. So they are the people that own the businesses, that work in businesses around the state. They still are close to their chosen occupation, and they live primarily in their home community, not at the place that is the seat of our legislature, which is Cheyenne. So you get people who are still scattered from around the state, still living everyday lives in Wyoming, and they bring that experience and that voice with them to the legislature. Some of the cons of having a citizen legislature would be simply that it does take longer to ramp up. A newly elected legislator has a learning curve. They have to get familiar with procedures and laws and just how does this system work. So there's a ramp up time where perhaps a person isn't as effective as they will ultimately become, but our system allows for that because of the staggered, times that seats are open and when people are up for a re-election. There's also another con would be that they have limited time to focus on their jobs as legislators because they do still have other lives and other businesses to run or occupations to fulfill. Their focus isn't solely on the legislating and the laws of the state of Wyoming. So that's just kind of a quick look at some pros and cons. And I think it really brings us to looking at the whole professional politician problem. I think sometimes when we've seen it especially in U.S. Congress, but also at the state level, when people are in office for too long, they really have sort of lost touch with the communities of a state or a country. And they are now a professional politician. The voices they hear aren't always the voices of the common man or of we the people. The voices they hear are those who have special interests and who are looking for perhaps some privilege in the legislation. So I think that problem has to be considered in studying the pros and cons of a citizen legislature. And I would kind of suggest that as you think about it, maybe you use this analysis. Is our legislature, is our government really to be viewed as an administrative function, or is it a leadership function? And that kind of, in my mind, that analysis brings two really different perspectives. When I think administration, I think more of just going through the steps to make something happen. When I think leadership, I think vision, inspiration, keeping a certain trajectory, keeping the dreams of a country alive or the dreams of a state alive. So in my mind, when I separate the analysis into those two camps, it definitely gives me some different thoughts about whether I would prefer a citizen legislator or a professional legislator. So my question for you today is, what is the value in your mind of having a citizen legislature in the state of Wyoming?